assalamu alaikum. Good morning, Khushamdi. Ji ayanu, goedemorgen.
Pakhair agale, ni hao, chudashime, washwale, ohai, guzaimes, guten morgen, hola, bonjour, privyet, kaifa hal, halishuma chatore, ahlan wasalan, marhaba, buna, mucho, gracias, suaviab, and a very amazing good morning to everybody who's tuned into PTV World and watching World this morning, alongside the very fantastic, the very amazing, the very energetic Shiza Hashmi and Shahzad Khan. Hello Shiza, how are you doing on a fine Tuesday morning? Over here in Islamabad, ladies and gentlemen, it's very cold. Let me ask her in the first place, whether is it a good morning for you or not?
It's always a good morning for me. Thank you so much for asking. But yes, it is so super cold. I think it was raining throughout the night, right?
Yes, it wasn't just raining throughout the night, but yesterday all day long it was raining as
Not
well.
in
And you
my
were the one who
area.
actually came with the news as well.
I came with the news, but it never happened in my area, na. So I
It
just
did.
really.
Yeah, it was raining all day long.
Not in my
Because,
side.
ladies and gentlemen, I just live like, what, 3 streets apart or 4 streets apart.
Yeah.
It was raining where I live and it wasn't raining where you live. You probably need to think about what the people of your area are up to if they're not being blessed with the rain.
Imagine that. Maybe it was like really tiny, but I'm really happy that it did, if it
Yeah,
did.
it does.
Fingers crossed, I hope it rains again today, but also I hope it is Rahmat ki barish,
Yes.
because you know, Shahzad, we often, more usual than often, we do wish for things that are suitable for us without being considerate of what it would mean to, well, anyone else, right?
Exactly.
People living so many different conditions, so many different, well, backgrounds they come from. So I really hope it's helpful and, well, fun for everyone to watch and enjoy.
So that's a great thought.
One more thing though, thank
Yeah.
you. One more thing though, you know, just the other day I was thinking of how and when I started my work over here. So this is my first job, ladies and gentlemen. So right after my graduation, I did this, right? So when I joined, our leadership, or my boss was different than he is now, right? And any time or every time there would be something wrong with me or with the news or whatever, they would ask me to leave my emotions outside of the studio door and to never show any sort of emotion on the screen and just do as the script says. To be honest, right, because I just graduated, so I had that thing on my mind, oh, let's go after whatever I want. How motivated are graduated kids, right?
Yeah.
So I was like, you know what? I don't think I can do that. My emotion is my identity, whatnot. I fought for it, and then I was well told by everyone it's not the way forward. And I agreed, and then I, of course, stopped being emotional.
Yeah.
But then sorry, it's getting long, but I really
Why are we
wanted.
talking about this? Come to the point.
I'm telling you, I really wanted sort of your opinion on it as well. But then I was reading about being emotional and how we're always told to leave it outside the workplace. But you can't do that. We're only human, right? Detaching human with emotions, first of all, is not possible. So we should definitely learn to manage those emotions because we're definitely going to have them. But how to manage them, or probably how to direct them in a way that is not going to interfere with your work, of course, your productivity, of course, but also going to make you feel okay. And that is emotional intelligence. And I'll be very honest, a lot of people lack that. Do you have any idea of how to practice that?
Well, I think I've got 2 replies to this as well. In the first place, you know, for what you're saying, I think is exactly right as well. And a lot of people actually go through this. And imagine that, you know, you're shooting for a drama serial and the script says that you actually have to yell and cry, but rather you're actually a very happy person.
Okay.
So you still have to do that because you're acting. And I
Right.
think in front of the camera at times, you have to go by the script as well, which is right. And that was the demand of that hour or that particular bulletin or the kind of lines you were given to as well. But speaking about emotion and emotional intelligence, it is very important, Shiza, and thank you very much for tapping onto this as well. Because we, I think for the last 2 decades have been talking about IQ or intelligence quotient as well, and we have never considered how emotional intelligence is very important.
Definitely.
Where to say, what to say and what not to say, I think is a way of living as well. But for me and myself as well, I think that I've committed the same mistake in my early years, even when I was with a private channel or I was working with somewhere else as well. The emotion would drive me somewhat out of the box as well and then bring me back in it as well.
Right.
But then, you know, there was a time when I actually had to realize that everybody needs to have a set of their own values and norms and live their life by that.
Okay.
You know, so if God forbid there was something, or probably even the lines, because I have worked for a few drama serials as well, which I thought is not right or I shouldn't be the one saying it. I have made sure to have a word with the director and the writer as well and be like, hey, you know what, I don't think that this is a reasonable line for me to say.
Okay.
So probably if we can go around is fine.
Okay.
That's one thing. So it is very important for everybody to have their own values and live your life with those values as well. And those values should actually be incorporated in a way that nobody gets hurt. So not
Definitely.
just because that it is a value you believe in doesn't really mean that it's a value which everybody should possess or a character which everybody should possess. Number one. Now, number two, there's this amazing philosophical scholar. I was listening to him early in the morning while I was on my way to work, and he said something which I think correlates with what you've pinpointed as well.
Okay.
And that is, ladies and gentlemen, that in life, if you want to have an organized mind, what you need to do is that your physical, your mental, your emotional, and your general well-being really needs to be in one direction.
How can we do that?
Yeah, for example, imagine that there's somebody who actually wants to build a house. Now, to build a house, you obviously need money, and there's this want which you really require for yourself, and that is a house. But when you know that you want a house, but when it comes down to how to make that house, you only think about, hey, you know what, it will actually require probably 10 lakh rupees or 20 lakh rupees, and I only have 50. So that means that you have a conflict with your own belief system.
Okay.
So going in one direction would actually be mean for somebody, for example, people. I'm not going to say that who think less, but there's a different power of belief, as we believe in Allah Almighty. So there are people who think in simpler ways, will actually go to a mosque, be like, Allah Miya, I need a house, please make sure that you get me a house.
Yeah.
Now, for people with simpler beliefs and simpler mindsets as well, will believe in that, and eventually they will build up a house because there was no conflict within their own selves.
Got it.
For people who've been thinking a lot or who think a lot generally and be like, hey, you know what, kaise banega yaar, 50 rupees jeb mein ghar banana bhi hai aur mere se ye ho nahi raha. So there's a conflict within our own belief system.
Right.
So what we need to do is to put everything in one direction. We need to get rid of the conflict within us.
Absolutely. Now that does make sense, but like Shahzad, we already spoke about it. I think it's really hard for everyone to do it. Some people might really have that kind of grip over their own emotions or over their own thinking, right? But not everyone is built the same. And I think this is one thing that we will continue talking about every other morning, so that maybe we can figure it out for ourselves and help you guys figure it out too.
Indeed.
But well, today we have to talk about something really important. And to begin with, I'm going to link you up with a story that later, of course, it was discarded because the company themselves said that this is not true. But it did come out, and a lot of people were hurt. So there's a Muslim dating app, no names. I think everyone knows what I'm talking about. They were accused of sharing all the customer data, if it's the right term I'm using, with the government of the country where they operate. And everyone who was enrolled in that app was really, really, well, infuriated, of course, because when you do, Shahzad, get something on your phone, or especially when you're on a social network creating your profile and, sharing all your, well, not secrets probably, but sharing all your identity and, everything about you, you just expect for it to be safe. You do not expect for it to go in the hand of people who are going to, well, use it in so many different ways we cannot put a finger on. But for laymen like us, I think it's really not very basic for us to, before downloading an app or doing anything of that sort, for us to read the privacy agreements or to read the, well, after effects it's going to have if we do agree to the terms as well. Now, this is my understanding of it. I wanted to talk about it to rather, in fact, learn how to be secure while using the internet, because it's not going anywhere. We now exist in a cybersphere rather than a public sphere. In fact, public sphere is now the cybersphere, right?
Exactly. And building up on that, ladies and gentlemen, all of these things and products and social media were actually supposed to make our life easier rather than make it worse as well. And I think in today's time, everybody pretty much knows that there's this thin line which they never would want to cross, because God forbid there will be a day that somebody will actually come out with all of those text messages or videos and everything as well. And then people have been blackmailing other people as well that, we are actually going to distribute your video on all the social media networks as well. With TV channels, it's different, it's not in everybody's reach, but social media is in everyone's reach as well, and we need to talk about it. And since you talked about, social media and social network as well, so there's this documentary, it's on Netflix, the name is Social Network, ladies and gentlemen. What they say is that for all of those people who worked in Facebook, Twitter, Instagram and elsewhere as well, they were ex-employees. They came together and they said that, that all of the data they have is at risk, and there can be a day where all of that data will actually be leaked, God forbid as well. Imagine that they have these avatars made on their computers, and they have a good team dedicated to each and every user as well, where what they're doing is that they're creating an impulse in you and changing or moderating your behaviors,
Your needs and desires as well.
and we do not even get to know about it, that when that impulse is going to take over. So ladies and gentlemen, we really need to talk about it. We really need to know the difference in between cybersecurity and cybercrime. God forbid if there's a false news and the network is hacked and the false news is published, people are going to believe in it, and there will be very chaotic repercussions for that.
Yes.
How to control that? What is the difference? What rights do we have? Where to go? God forbid if something like this happens, what can we actually do are the questions which we'll be asking from such a person who looks very young but is very smart, and we'll be in conversation with him. He happens to be a cybersecurity expert, and he is the one and only Mr. Ehtizaz Mohsin. Hello, assalamu alaikum, good morning.
Walaikum salam, good morning. Thank you so much for having on the show.
Thank you very much for joining us. It's wonderful to have you. You've been a speaker on a lot of international forums. You've done quite a lot so far as well, and you happen to be an information security researcher as well. In the first place, what I would want to know is, who is an information security researcher?
Well, information security expert is the guy who actually studies the computer systems and try to find out the weaknesses in that system, so that he can actually publish it and share the research with the other communities.
The bugs.
Okay, the bugs and things, so that the people can actually look after their systems and patch them. So
And there's a reason why I've asked you this question. I'm sorry, but my questions are usually multilateral as well. So what if that the information researcher or the information security expert flips and is like, I know about all the bugs now, and let me be the other way, let me be the super villain. So aren't we at risk of having or hiring an information security expert?
I guess it's all about the intention of the person. As per my understanding, there is no such thing as ethical hacker. Actually, it's the hacker. His aim is to actually find weaknesses in the system. Right now, it depends on his intention, whether he wants to use it for making use of it, making any wants to make some money out of it, using that. For example, if he has found some weakness in the banking website, and he can use it to actually get all of the money from the banks, or he can actually reach the bank administrators and tell them about the weaknesses in their system. So it's all about the intentions.
So what you're trying to tell us is that it can happen.
It can happen.
Definitely
There are
it can
chances.
happen.
In some cases, people can actually flip a bit and do this thing.
But the good part is, like you said, the job is so crucial and the expertise is so unique, right? Not everyone, first of all, has it. So the people who do have it, I think they have a bigger option of actually going to the institutions and, well, asking them, this is the bug we had identified, or these are the threats that you have. And I have the expertise, so, might as well pay me this amount and I'll work for you. Well, it's happening, of course, even for national security matters. Governments are employing such people as well. And you happen to be one of them. This is brilliant. But we are going to throw questions at you as a layman, of course, for our better understanding and for everyone watching as well. So to begin with, when we talk about cyber security, what are we expecting from the internet?
The thing is that we have to first differentiate between cybersecurity and cybercrime.
Please do
See,
that.
with the advent of IT, we have seen that with the work which was used to be done by hands is now being like digitalized. So
Right.
it raises concerns about the integrity of the systems, and that's where the cybersecurity comes into play. That it's the practice of defending computer systems from attackers.
Okay.
Suppose, let's take an example of a house where you have multiple doors and windows, and we can see that there are bars on the windows and doors of the first floor, but not on the second or third floor. So here, anyone can make his way into the house via the second floor or third floor.
Okay.
So, but we have the bars on the first floor.
Yeah.
So the probability of an adversary making his way into the house is relatively low, but it's not zero.
Okay.
That means it's quite difficult for him to actually reach to the house, because he needs a ladder, or he needs some kind of physical access to actually reach there. So it's just a matter of time and the effort he puts in, so he can actually reach there. So how to actually decrease this probability further? Just put more controls. Okay, install the bars on the windows and doors of the second floor, third floor. Similarly, in digital age we are living, our mobile applications, our mobiles, our laptops are not 100% secure. They may be secure up to some certain extent. Like, for example, they may be secure against some attacks, but not against those which are yet to be discovered. Okay, so let's check as far as the cybercrime is concerned. It's like like committing a criminal activity, doing some criminal activity
Right.
using a computer system or targeting a computer system. So here I'd like to quote an example which will help us to actually define or easy to understand the relation between cybercrime and cybersecurity. That, for example, all of us are having internet routers at home. We use it for the internet connectivity, definitely. Okay, and it comes with the Wi-Fi access point as well. Okay, most of us are actually concerned about social media accounts. Okay, so we know that. Okay,
That's where our secret lies.
the secret lies. So we know that, okay, never click a suspicious link, use strong password, use two-factor authentication. But in this case, for example, that's our first line of defense. Already everyone knows it. Okay, but like 5 years ago, someone discovered a method or technique that, okay, the routers which are installed at our home comes with a default password, and every router has a different password.
Yes.
Default different password.
Default different
Yes.
password. Okay, so now someone has discovered a technique. Okay, you can guess the default passwords.
Okay.
Okay, till back in
What
five.
are the most common default passwords?
No,
Just
it's
like
random. It's random.
It's
Okay,
random.
okay.
You cannot guess directly.
And
Actually,
we should be doing it on television
yeah.
anyway.
So that guy actually discovered the method. Okay, we can guess it. But just look at the connection, for example. Okay, so it was 5 years back. Only he was the one who knew it.
Okay.
Now, if anyone goes to the YouTube or Google and search how to actually hack into the router of that particular ISP provided by the particular ISP, you will get the complete tutorials. So now you're on a mercy of a non-technical guy, even someone who has nothing to do with this technology.
Yeah.
He is even able to break into your network. So
And
you
what is he capable of if he, God forbid, breaks into our Wi-Fi routers?
if he breaks into your Wi-Fi network, it depends. If it's just connected to the internet, okay, he can actually sniff your network traffic.
Okay.
So, and that's how your data flows, your passwords, your messages, everything. Okay, he can look at it. Another thing be if he can actually get access to the router system as well, the operating system running inside the router. If he can actually get inside him,
So he's got everything.
then he got everything.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I have a question which has always bothered me. Maybe there has to be a safer answer to this, so think before you speak. Universities and their, well, Wi-Fi free for everyone, their own passwords and everything, it's like their own system, right? Their own, I don't even know the terms, so maybe you know what I'm talking about. Do they have access
LAN.
to, yes, probably. Do they
Local
have
area.
access to anything or everything that we do?
It's not really. Using the Wi-Fi system, just it's like you're connecting to the access point where everyone can use the internet.
Okay.
The
Okay.
open access point means that there may be multiple people connected to it. So anyone can become an attacker.
Yeah.
Actually, he can look at all the traffic, move it through that.
Right.
Okay, and actually sniff it. Even he
No,
can,
I mean to say, would the administration, who is, of course, building all this thing, would they have access to, or would they have control over whatever we are using through our
Yeah.
phones?
actually, they can do it.
Yeah.
Right?
They can intercept.
And they might
everything.
do it as well.
Depends.
This is something which we used to think, back in our university days as well.
I
that
used
how
to as
do-
well.
how do we get caught? And I think that this might be the reason as well.
Why
Every
not?
day, they're coming up with newer cases. Hey guys, you've been up to this, you've been up to this.
Yeah.
Be like, how do they have this?
And
idea?
there's no such thing as anonymous feedback. Students just know that.
Exactly.
Now,
And-
one more.
Yeah,
Sorry,
go
go
ahead.
on. Okay, now this is again a serious question. I know we're supposed to talk about basic things, but, well, these things do come to my mind and I need answers. When we talk about unmanned automatic weapons, this is the future, right? If we do look at, God forbid, if we do look at another great war, this is how we're going forward. Now, for some, of course, now we're talking about technology. If I am the technological person for this country, and if someone is going to operate an unarmed weapon somewhere else, I might have the expertise to launch it and create havoc before it is even supposed to. Should people who don't have the knowledge or who don't have, well, control over their thoughts have that ability?
It still depends. We were just discussing that it's the era of Internet of Things. That
Yes.
everything is connected to the internet. First, it was just a router, so someone can actually access your network via the router. But now it's like your air conditioner,
Right.
your
Everything which is Wi-Fi operated.
everything Wi-Fi operated. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Even your electric kettle is connected to it, and most of the devices are actually exposed to the internet.
Okay.
And as far as the this new guns which are controlled over the internet.
Or
There was a
satellite.
recent presentation on a international conference, Black Hat, that actually they can hack into the automatic rifle, which is
Right,
controlled
they
with the
can,
Wi-Fi.
that's what I'm saying.
So if
So this again becomes an ethical question as well, and while we don't want to get to that part, but I think this is a loophole. Anyone can do anything and blame it on an anonymous entity.
But the
How
IP would
dangerous
come
is
out,
that?
no? You know, they would know.
doesn't matter.
It doesn't count.
Really?
No, you can actually protect yourself without
Yeah.
disclosing your IP.
Wow.
Oh yeah, I've seen that as well. But okay, very quickly, you know, I think that our conversations beyond fantasy as well, ladies and gentlemen. It felt like for a
real.
while, it felt like as we're in a world which is actually made by Marvel Comics as well.
But it's
and that, you know, somebody automatically taking over your automatic Kalashnikov or whatever, God forbid, it is very dangerous. It is very real. And yes, I think that the current age has its own threats as well. But coming down to and keeping it very personal as well. So, ladies and gentlemen, for all of those people who have updated their iOS software, I think I'm going to show you something over here. Because what they do is, for example, the last caller I am is my sister. So, if I'm going to do this, there will be an orange light over here, which means right on the top of my screen, which means that they can actually hear me. You know, so my microphone is audible, ladies and gentlemen. So, now not just that. Whatever application you're going to use, it is going to show either green light, either red light, either orange light as well, which means that the application is using your camera, whether the application is using your microphone, and whatsoever. There are different things. And there are applications which are not required to use your, camera or microphone or whatsoever. You talked about first line of defense. You talked about two-factor authentication as well. But what can I do if, God forbid, an application is actually using my camera and it is not supposed to use my camera or my audio or microphone for that matter?
See, these devices were created to actually connect everyone and make the life easier for everyone. But it comes with a cost.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we have seen that recently that these devices are listening on us, okay, keeping record of us, whatever we are doing, okay. And what can actually happen, I think in the current era, the most important thing we need to understand that we don't need to share every moment of our life on the social media platform, and that's because we have this new technologies called artificial intelligence.
But we are helpless. They keep on asking, baby, kya kar rahe ho? What can people do? They're like, okay, you know what, I'm going to take a picture. We have trust issues, man. We need to take a lot of pictures, especially married people. They need to do that.
But that's the world today.
Yeah, that's the virtual. So, for example, if an application gets access to your phone and he has the access of your videos and
camera and
that's identity theft. Actually, they can use it to defame you and they can use it to blackmail you. But the important thing which I'd like to discuss is the new thing, deepfake. Okay.
Yes, I was going to ask.
What's that?
Okay, deepfake is like
Deepfake.
It's a technology based on artificial intelligence and deep learning. Okay, so it's a deepfake is like a realistic video, okay,
of a person,
of a person, which shows someone saying which he has never said anything or done anything.
And it looks original. The video
looks original. For example, you might receive a video from the Prime Minister that we are under nuclear war.
God forbid.
Okay. And I guess you can guess the consequences that it's enough to create chaos at national level.
Yes.
That's insane. Is it like a hologram or something? What is it?
Well, it's technology that you feed the pictures, videos, and it read the patterns and try to create the models of yours.
It's insane.
And works accordingly. Yes.
I just recently actually
it sounds
featured
fake, but
in
it's real
Titanic
actually.
as well.
Right.
It's
and shared that video.
So better think before sharing pictures next time on the social media.
But we don't do that, right? I mean, it's really, isn't it so normal for us to just sit at our, home and be like, oh, I like this picture, I'm going to upload it for my friends because that is what's going to happen. So how can we, while of course we know internet is not going anywhere, you have to wrap it up as well. And cyber threat is going to be there in one way or another. If we even fix all the ones that we have, we'll have newer ones. So how can we be safe while the internet having its own threats?
I think the general security...
Or let's say, what is the future of these threats?
Yeah.
Well, everyone is trying their best to actually come up with something new. We have new technology. For example, iOS has sent a new update.
Okay.
Now, the researchers all around the world are actually going to look into the bugs, which are now unknown and introduced into the IS of latest version.
Yeah.
Okay, that's how these things are working. People are actually looking for these bugs on daily basis,
Yeah.
and they will come with new techniques and going to hit you hard.
And every time this is
Going
going to
to hit
happen,
you hard,
ladies and
that's
gentlemen, but we will have our saviors in today's time as well, and they're known as cybersecurity experts, which obviously Atazaz over here happens to be one as well. So very quickly, one last thing, and that is that, for all of those people who've been moderating our behaviors, which I know is infringement, and I know that it's actually complete violation of one's privacy, and making sure that they're going to repeatedly keep on doing that as well. How do you think that we can change the very dynamics of it as well? And do you think that we can? And this is where your role comes in as well, as a cybersecurity expert, that these are the things which you can utilize right now to make sure that all of that data which is out there is actually in safe hands.
See, for the layman, it's important for all of us that actually at least understand the basics of security.
Yeah.
How to keep yourself secure at the first place. I know you cannot save yourself from you can say a new attack, because people are actually investing millions of dollars just to remain safe.
Oh yeah.
But for normal people, it will be very difficult to. So for normal people, I would like to say that at least use password managers. They will help you to create strong passwords, and it won't be guessable. Enable two-factor authorization. Even someone guess your password, then there is another line of defense which they cannot cross. And I would like to advise that at least have a separate device, a cheap tablet, which you can use for the financial accounts using your financial transactions.
right. Yeah.
Okay, because for example, if you have your laptop and you are using it for every activity, there might be you have done something or downloaded a Trojan or malware on your system. Okay, so it's like a game over
So don't do
scenario.
that,
So have a separate device for the transactions. And the most important thing that I think it's important is that you keep yourself educated about the fashion industry, sport industries. At least try to follow some resources over the internet which are going to actually educate you about the current and latest threats. And
Okay.
that's how you can keep
Keep up.
yourself and your family safe.
Wow,
Oh,
wonderful.
brilliant.
That is Atasaz. Thank you very much for being with us. It was lovely to be in conversation. And we're going to do this a regular thing that, once a month we're actually going to call you in as well, because there are a lot of people doing a lot of things. And there's new technology coming out every single day as well. So I think
Definitely.
it is the responsibility of the user as well to please make sure that they protect all kinds of data as well.
Yeah.
And yes, ladies and gentlemen, having a cheap tablet or a cheap cell phone with Wi-Fi connection, I think it's a better idea rather than actually losing control over all your financial transactions for all of those messages you've sent to I don't know how many people saying what. If you want all of that to be a secret, please make sure that you invest in it as well.
Absolutely. And well, even if people outside who are watching right now, including Shazad and me, we have still so many questions. And like Shazad said, we are going to make this, well, sort of a regular thing where we can collectively make at least our people safe from, the threats of the cybersphere as well. But ladies and gentlemen, I absolutely love to point out the fact that people like, or rather youth like Etazaz do exist. And we take pride in him because, yes, they are Pakistanis and they're bringing a good name to it.
Yes.
They're using their I don't know how to say it, skills for the betterment of the country and for the prosperity of the nation itself as well.
Exactly.
This is what we need to celebrate. And probably this is what we will be doing even after this very short break. So to find out what it is going to be, you have to stay tuned. Good morning.
Yeah, we will be celebrating a young Pakistani, ladies and gentlemen, because she got Pakistan 2 gold medals. How?
Wow.
That's something which we are discussing after a short break. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. Good morning.
Good morning.
The ancient city of Taxila is the heart of stonework in Pakistan. This art, which has been preserved and practiced for centuries, can be seen on many major landmarks of the country. Notably, the Pietra Dura work in the Lahore Fort's Sheesh Mahal. These stone products take days to complete and require immense precision and skill from the craftsmen. The final products are perfect for souvenirs, gifts and decoration pieces, each depicting the richness of Pakistani culture at its best. Camel skin and ivory craft are trademarks of Multan's handicraft repertoire. Camel skin is cleaned, dried and mounted onto molds which can be of any shape desired. Multicolored lacquer painting is then used to ornament the molds, which in the end bear a Mughal or Persian feel. Ivory is crafted into pens, chess sets, jewelry and other accessories such as keychains by the expert craftsmen. Such detailed work, while being extravagant, is indeed a feat to achieve, and craftsmen of Multan produce beauty with their work which is worthy of global admiration. The enchanting arts and crafts of Pakistan.
Welcome back to World This Morning, ladies and gentlemen, with Shahzad Khan and Shaza Hashmi. Well, before going out on a short break, we spoke about how we're here to celebrate the youth of Pakistan doing amazing things for Pakistan. And the one for this segment we have, well, it's very interesting because for the first time, Shahzad and I learned there's such a thing called yoga sports. So, of course, there's gymnastics that are competed for in the international fora as well. There is, well, of all kinds of sports, but to be a person who performs yoga sport, Shahzad, you know that even includes aerial yoga, to be hanging off things in the air and performing yoga. It's so interesting, right?
It is, ladies and gentlemen, and today we're very lucky that we've actually been joined by somebody who actually happened to start with her athletic career in 2016 January, and by 2017 she actually participated in Asian Student Olympics as well and won a gold medal for Pakistan. Not just that, in 2018 she once again
got a gold medal, and this time it was an international competition, of course, for the South Asian Yoga Sports Championship. How amazing is that?
It is amazing, and ladies and gentlemen, we're very lucky that this little angel, who actually happens to be the flag bearer of the pride of Pakistan, ladies and gentlemen, has joined us all the way from Karachi. Ladies and gentlemen, we're very lucky that we've actually been joined by Miss Rose Maria Gale. Hello, Assalamu alaikum, Rose. How are you?
I'm fine. Good morning.
Good morning.
Thank you very much. Good morning, Rose, and it's wonderful to actually have you on our show as well. And you've definitely done a great job so far. But let's talk about it. How did you get to know about sports yoga?
So, I started my career in 2016. yoga was converted into sports. Firstly, it was like people think it was related with mental health. Now, even it is related with mental health, but then in 2016, it was converted into sports. So my biggest inspiration is my mom. So like whenever I used to go with her at the age of 9, I used to go with her to different training sessions and like seeing her, and that thing like really pushed me forward to go into such sport. So the first gold medal I won was in Malaysia, 2017, and many countries participated. Firstly, I was really nervous because like there were many people and that was my first international competition. And India was even competing with me, many other countries like Bangladesh, Nepal, and in my category there were like 25 individuals, and
Wow.
overall participants were like 200 and above. So that pressure
And
was
you
like
won
maintained
from
on
among
me that
all of
I have
them.
to. Sorry.
Sorry, Rose, I'm cutting you. I said you won among all of them. But while you do explain that, do also let us know when you did start, of course, performing yoga and then doing yoga sports, how did you find out about international competitions? Who assisted you to reach there?
My dad really supported me during this, and when he knew about my passion, he contacted different people like who are associated with yoga, like different associations, like
Okay.
all over Asia. So like he contacted with them, and he made me practice so hard that go to that championship.
Wow.
Wow, and that's wonderful as well. But you know, Rose, there's one thing which is very interesting about you, and that is that you know you started with yoga sports in 2015 and 16, and by 2017 you've had a gold medal. So, who in the first place was teaching you? Who was your mentor? Who was your coach? And how did you get into yoga, anyways?
Like my coach name is Sir Khalid Brohi. I'm very much thankful to him. Like he prepared me so hard, and when I went to the championship, I won a gold medal. Like I won a gold medal because of him only, because he was the one who helped me in my hard times. Like if I didn't understand one step, one posture, he used to like help me like many times. He used to say, "You can do this." He used to motivate me a lot. So I'm very thankful to him.
Wow.
That's brilliant. But Rose, what grade are you in right now?
I study in Convent of Jesus and Mary. I'm in grade 9, and
Oh, brilliant.
I would
So when
like
you
to take
came
this
back from
opportunity
winning the
to
competition,
principal
sorry, I'm
Sister
cutting you
Mary
off.
Langan.
All right. So when you came back from winning the competitions, how were your classmates treating you? Were they like really happy for you because, well, you are the pride of Pakistan?
Like many people, like my friends, they were very proud of me. And like now, when I get messages that we are very proud of you, you like represented Pakistan at such a high level and you won a gold medal. But many people are even there, like parallel to them, who are very jealous of me.
Aw.
Like they
Uh,
think that they never achieved this position and I achieved it. So like they were very much jealous.
Well,
Aw.
you really don't have to be worried about all of those people, Rose, anyways, because you are actually on the right path and on the right
Yes.
track as well, and it's wonderful. But what I'm thinking or what I'm trying to contemplate over here is that for somebody who's in ninth grade in 2020, she must be in sixth or fifth grade by the time it was 2016 or 17.
Yes.
So you were very young when you actually got all of these gold medals for Pakistan and for yourself as well. So it must be hard. So how do you manage your studies at the same time and then yoga sports and being an athlete?
So like when I come from school, I study like I work studies and sports simultaneously. I give like particular time like 2 hours or 3 hours to my studies, and after that I give time to my sports yoga. I like
Yeah.
go into my separate room like my sports room, and then I practice yoga a lot.
Wow.
I perform different asanas like because like in three factors are present in yoga like balancing, back bending, and front bending. So we need to
Yeah.
focus on all the three to get achieve gold medal.
Wow. And
So
you've
like
done great so far, which your gold medals are a proof of. But what I wanted to ask over here was that to be an athlete of such sort, where you consecutively win two gold medals in 2 different years as well, you obviously have to have a very strict routine and a very disciplined life as well. And as kids, you were very young when you actually got your gold medals as well. Kids feel like eating whatever they want. They can have 10 ice creams in a single day, but to be an athlete, you have to maintain discipline. You have to have a very strict diet. So, was it hard for you to actually follow all of that to actually, when you were chasing your dream and wanted to get a gold medal for Pakistan?
At that moment it was hard because like I was young and I didn't understand these sort of things that I have to go out and represent Pakistan. But then my dream was right in front, my goal was in front that I have to go and achieve it one day, which I did. So that thing, like I restricted myself with a lot of things like don't have ice creams, like as you mentioned, chocolates, which like contains fat, calories, and all of that. So
Well, that's really nice as well that you sort of, stopped yourself from doing
I
all
still
that.
do not have that discipline in my life. I mean,
Right?
whenever I see a chocolate, I eat it.
I wish we could learn from you. But Rose, just before you joined us, I was telling Shazad about the different types of yoga or the acts that you can actually do in yoga sports. And I came across a picture of you where you were doing aerial yoga. How do you find that? Do you find it interesting? Is it scary? Is it your
Must be
favorite? Well,
scary.
it's my favorite to look at.
Yeah.
like I was the first one to do rope yoga. It was in Nepal, and one Indian instructor helped me to do this. Like there was one single rope, and there are different like tricks and techniques to work on it. First, we need to like take one rope, and then we need to move around it. Like there are different techniques, and it's very technical. It's not easy for like one person to do it alone. We need to
Of
have a
Exactly.
like
course,
good
it looks so
instructor to
hard.
help.
Exactly. It definitely looks very scary and it is hard anyways as well. But, for somebody, who knows over here in Pakistan, yoga is not the most famous form of exercise or working out as well, even though that, the world actually is becoming a yogi out there. But over here in Pakistan, we still have time. There are different institutions who teach you yoga, but it's not very famous. It's
Right.
not the in thing in Pakistan. And for a longer period of time, people have been trying and convincing other people to do yoga. But what I wanted to know was that to learn all of these things and be a part of yoga sports and getting a gold medal, you really need a facility to go to because aerial yoga obviously you have to practice first and then you can go and perform. So
Right.
do we have such facility over here in Pakistan where you can go and train yourself for yoga sports?
Like in Pakistan, we don't have such facilities because like in Pakistan, no one knows yoga. And
Yeah.
I'm sure that now even people think that yoga is a physical exercise. It is a physical exercise, but as I mentioned that in 2016 it was converted into sports.
Sports, yeah.
So like it's not
Okay.
only about physical exercise, but we need to perform different asanas. So
Right.
it's
So, Rose, I
like
think
very
we understand that while there are, yes, a lot of people who do perform yoga in Pakistan, we cannot discredit their work. Of course, they're doing
Obviously.
an amazing job. But yes, you're right. Sports is a totally different factor of it. But very quickly, my last question to you is going to be, what is Rose Maria Gill's future in terms of being an athlete? I mean, or an Olympian? Where do you see yourself performing yoga in the next few years, maybe?
like Pakistan have many champions and legends in like different sports like hockey, squash, and tennis. And I just want to follow the legacy and keep up with my career. I want to
Okay.
go in yoga and perform different championships so I can win more gold medals to represent Pakistan proudly.
Inshallah.
Wow, and we want to wish you best of luck. Thank you very much, Rosemary Gill, for being with us. You are the pride of Pakistan as well, and we hope and pray that, for whatever you wish for, you are bestowed upon with that by Allah Almighty as well. Thank you very much for being with us. It was wonderful to be in conversation. Ladies and gentlemen, that was Rosemary Gill, who has actually earned Pakistan 2 gold medals at a very young and tender age as well.
Right.
Imagine the kind of dedication, imagine the kind of discipline she might have to achieve all of what she has achieved in such a young age.
Absolutely. I mean, it really, really inspires me, sort of, Shazad. Every other morning we come across people, and especially it really inspires me when we do come across youngsters. I mean, kids, especially making a name for them already.
Yeah.
I was so dumb at that age, but I'm so happy to see all of those people going forward as well. But, ladies and gentlemen, Shazad, there's something you need
Exactly.
to
There's one more thing which I would love to reiterate about, ladies and gentlemen, and we started our conversation with that point that it is very important for all of us to have an organized mind. And I've
Yeah.
told you that in order to have an organized mind, you would want your physical, your mental, your emotional, and your general well-being in one direction as well, which is not something which is not achievable. It is definitely something which people do, but over years of practice. We want to do
Absolutely.
so, and I think that we will actually achieve whatever we want in our life. And please have that power of faith and belief in yourself. So whatever you're going to
Yes.
do, have that conviction that inshallah Allah willing, I will be able to do so.
Yeah, that is so important. If you still have any questions or any sort of feedback, do let us know through our Facebook page with the name of
World This Morning.
on Twitter,
World This Morning without a G.
on YouTube.
YouTube, ladies and gentlemen, you have to look for PT World. Then the most viewed show on PT World is World This Morning, alhamdulillah. So go ahead, check it out.
Yes, and the repeat of this show you can catch at
5 past midnight. Till the next time, ladies and gentlemen, look after yourselves, inspire a lot of people around you, and make sure to follow all the SOPs because COVID cases are on a rise.
Yes,
look after yourselves and look
unfortunately.
after your loved ones as well. 1, 2, 3.
Good morning. Stay safe.
Badshahi Mosque or the Royal Mosque in Lahore, commissioned by the 6th